Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Finger Dancer. Today we've put the guitar to one side and I'm going to show you, anybody who's interested in this, to how to make a leek and potato soup, which is a lovely thing to eat when it's really cold outside and you can't get out to the shops. And this is a very simple leek and potato soup, and I'm going to sort of start off by showing you the ingredients that you need, and we'll go from there. And now I've got the stuff out that I'm going to use. I've got an onion to start. Put 3 nice sized leeks, 3 potatoes, and I'm going to stick a small carrot in with the soup, because I think that gives it a little bit of sweetness. Now all the stuff, I'm going to start off by putting a tablespoon of oil into the pan we're going to use. Now this is a stock pot, but you can use anything. You can use a very large saucepan, but I prefer to use a stock pot. So what we do first of all, I'll put a level tablespoon of oil in there, which should be enough. You don't want too much oil. Don't overuse the oil. Now we'll get that working. I'll start that off on a very low as you can get it. I'm using gas, but I expect the electric would be just the same. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start off by getting this onion prepared, and what I'll do, I'll put all the stuff I'm not going to use for this. Put it all in here, all the waste stuff, and this goes down to the compost heap later on. So we're doing another job as well while we're at it. So what I'm going to do, I've got that's ready to go. Now with these leeks, I'm going to cut all the green bits off, and I'm going to take the bit off that uses the root. We're going to try and just use basically the whites of the leeks, if we can do that. Right, so that's done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut the onion up and I'm going to get it into the pan, and that's the first job. Well, now what I've actually done, well, I've put my onion and 2 leeks into the pan, and that is going now under a very light small flame. So now the last job I'm going to do, I'm going to peel the carrot into the bucket, catching all the stuff that I'm not going to use. That's ready to chop up. I've got the last potato. I'm using 3 potatoes, and I've already done 2. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking the outer peel off of the potato. Right, that's okay. That's the 3 potatoes ready. Now I've got a leek here, this is the last leek. I've already done 2. Just chop this up like this. Remember, you're trying to use as much of the leek as you can, but I've taken the leaves off for this exercise. Right, so I'm going to put that lot into the pan with the other. I'm going to that's my carrot going in. Right, it's all sweating down nicely there now. That can keep sweating while I do the potatoes. Okay, now the next stage for me, I've got all the ingredients into the stock pot. I've got a very low flame still, and we're still sweating down the vegetables. But what I'm going to do now, for those who are not using a blender, if you haven't got the use of a blender, then you want to keep the vegetables and stuff as small as you can in little small pieces, because at the end of the day you can put a potato crusher down, which will help to make the stuff small. But in the meantime, I'm going to use a pair of scissors, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to chop the stuff that's in the pot with these scissors, just getting it, just running the scissors over it like this to keep it as small as possible, so that you haven't got too much to mash at the end of the day. Right, that's okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do, the next stage, so you don't have enough all your stuff to wash up after this, while that's still sweating down, and I normally leave mine sweating down for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to wash up all this stuff, because I'm finished with it now, I don't need it anymore. So while the kettle's boiling for the stock cubes, I'm going to use chicken oxo and a vegetable oxo in a pint of water, and I'm going to do that now. In the meantime, that is still sweating away. I'm going to wash my stuff up, because it's nothing worse than having a load of stuff over to wash up when you finish doing the job. So by the time we've finished, the whole thing will be clear. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so we've done the stock. We've put a pint of water in there, and we've crumbled the stock cubes in. Give it a nice stir. That's almost ready to put into the stock pot now. The stock pot now is sweated down nicely. All the vegetables are cut up really small. Everything's cleared away. We've done all the washing up. We've got rid of all that. Everything's ready to go. Now all I'm going to do now, I'm going to tip the stock into the pan. Add a little drop more water to that, because a little bit of oxo hasn't. Right, I'll put that in there now. Give it a little stir around. I mean, that's looking really nice now. It's looking really nice. So basically, what you've got leeks, potato, an onion, a small carrot, just to give it a little bit of sweetness. Now, I'm not going to add any extra pepper or salt into this mix. That'll be up to you when you serve it into your bowls and you start eating it with your crusty bread. If you want to put a little bit of pepper in, I use black, but I'm not going to use any black pepper today, because I like the people who eat it to put their own condiments in. So what I'm going to do now that's all in there, I'm going to turn it up high, turn the heat up. Now, turn the heat up high. We want that to boil now. Once it's boiled, once you see it boiling, we put the lid on and turn it right down to simmer, as low as possible. And then we'll simmer it for 40 minutes, and then after the 40 minutes is up, you can use a timer or a clock or however you want to do it. You'll find those vegetables lovely and tender. If I was doing it for myself, I would get the blender out and I would blend it. But if you haven't got a blender, as I say, you can use the potato masher, give it a good old stab through like that, and that will bring the bits down to a manageable level. And that's about it. So thanks. Right, so we've got a bowl of soup. I've blended it, and I've got it sort of blended, and that's your finished article. But just to recap now, it's most important the sweating down. And I usually sweat down for about 20 minutes. It's very important because that brings the flavours out of the vegetables, and that's very important to do. So we've got our veg. You can get that from any supermarket. You can use any combinations of vegetables that you want. We've just used leeks and potatoes and a carrot. but basically chop them up very fine, put them into your stock pot on a very low setting in order to sweat it down. 20 minutes, as I said, to sweat down. Once you've sweated it down, make your stock up, put your stock in, bring it up to the boil. Once it's boiling, turn it down to very minimum on your gas or your electric. 40 minutes with a simmer is what I use, and then, as I say, you can either use the blender or you can use a potato masher to get it to very small, depending on what your likes are. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Enjoyed doing this for you. Let's get back to the guitar.